Now, in part one, we looked at styles, notably for paragraph and for characters, where you can have styles for your images as well. Now, a style is a set of predefined settings that you can apply. So up here, we have the built-in ones, and you can simply click to see the different effects that we have on our image. And then you can make changes to that style with the configuration options below, such as border here. If I expand this, we can make some changes here. So if I click on this drop down, we've actually got some default border styles that we can apply. And then below that, we've got another drop down where we can switch this one from being a picture frame and change it to just a line border, or remove the border completely. I do think a picture frame border can look good in certain contexts. And down here, we can change the scale, and you can see it shortening there. And if I just click here, we can see that we've got a lot of border styles that we can now choose from. Just click to preview them and see if there's any that you like. I think I'm going to stick with this one. And actually, let's scale this one down a little bit. Now, as well as the border, you can apply a shadow effect as well. There currently isn't one, but you can click here and then apply one of these. So we've got a drop shadow. There is a contact shadow. And then finally, a curved one. Now, each of these has different sliders below that you can move to tweak the effects. If I come up to drop shadow instead, we can see that we've now got a blur effect at the top, which we can adjust. And here you'll see that we can also add a reflection. And I have to say, it's not very often that I felt this adds something to my document, but I'm sure there are times when it is totally suitable. And then down here, there's also an opacity slider, which of course is going to affect how transparent the image is. Now you can give your image a title, not something that I often do, but there are times when a caption can look quite good though, just beneath. Just going to add in some text here. And then just as a throwback to the first video, you'll see over here in the format inspector, we're using the default caption style up here called Object Caption. And I can make some changes to this if I want. So let's say I want to make this bold. It's italicized. And I'm going to reduce the font size as well. I can now come up here and click Update to permanently change this Object Caption style. And there, now we can see how that looks. Now, for changes that I've made to that image style as something that I want to keep and repeat in the future, all I need to do is come up here to the image styles and then click on the right chevron here, click plus, and now anytime I want to apply that style to another image, I just need to click here. Now, once you've created a style that you're happy with for your image, there's nothing to say that the image that you have there actually has to stay. It could be that you want the image that's in there to be just a placeholder until you find a more appropriate one. I'm going to come up to Format, then down to Advanced, and then come across to Define as Media Placeholder. And you can see a small image logo has appeared in the bottom right-hand corner. Well, this tells me this image is merely a placeholder. And if I click, a Finder Picker opens and I can simply select the image I actually want to put in there. And there is a lovely photo that I took on a work trip to Frankfurt, which was a lovely part of the world. Now, every Pages document has at least one section. You've probably never noticed because most of the time you only need one. But once you understand what sections do, they do unlock solutions to problems that otherwise seem impossible. Now, a section is basically a chunk of a document that can have its own header, its own footer, its own page number system, column layout, and indeed page background color. Now, I've got 3 documents. They're each going to show a different real-world use case. Now, this one here, we can see at the top, we've got no header. And as I come down, no footer, because this is going to be like a cover page. It doesn't need its own header and footer. Yet here on this page, we can see there is indeed a header. And as I come down, our footer contains a page number and it's page 1. Even though there is a cover page. And we've been able to do this by using sections. Now, how do we know that this document is split up into different sections? Well, if I come up to View here and then select Show Invisibles, down here, just after the last piece of text, we have a section break. Now, everything above it is the first section of the document, and then everything below is the second. Unless, of course, there's another section break further on, in which case there'd be a third section, and so on. Now, if I come over into the document inspector, we've got a dedicated tab for sections here. We can control the header and footer behavior. So there's a checkbox here to match the previous section. It's checked here, but I know that if I come down to the next one and click anywhere in here, over here, that checkbox is not checked because we've got our own header and footer set up. Now, if I come up to this first section again and click anywhere in there, I'm going to give this page a dedicated background color. So let's give it a color fill. That looks a little bit strong, definitely clashes. I'm going to click here and just change it to this light gray color. And you can see as I come down to section 2, that section is going to have its own page background style there. Now we are going to run through how to create new sections at the end of this part, but just while we've got this option here, I'm going to point out the drop down, which allows us to create a new section after this one. And you can also create a new section by coming up to the insert menu here. And there's an option for section, and then you can also add in a section break, which is generally how I set them up myself. Okay, earlier we saw that when we changed the number of columns in a document via the layout tab, it affected everything. Well, here in this particular document, as I come down, I've just put in a little visual marker here to say that everything above here is basically section 1 and everything below is going to be section 2. And we can see that the schedule that I've got set up looks much better in a dual column format with the morning on the left and the afternoon on the right. So just to show that these are definitely two different sections, I'm going to come up here and show invisibles once more. And we can see that section break just here. So I'll come up anywhere in that section and click. Then click on the layout tab here. And we can see that is indeed just one column. Whereas if I come down to section 2, I'm going to click in here. And we can see that we can have multiple columns in here. And it's really handy to be able to have this flexibility. Now, another way of being able to identify how many sections you have is if you come over here and just click. If I click on this first page, you can see it's highlighted in a dark orange there. And any other pages in that section are highlighted in a lighter color. So this is section 1. And if I click on page 3, we can see section 2 clearly highlighted there. Pretty useful to have. Now this example I have here will show how using different sections helps you when you need different page numbering schemes. So I've got a long thesis here, many pages. And this cover page here we can see doesn't have a number. If I come down to the abstract here and the start of the document, we can see we've got Roman numerals down here. And if I come over to the document inspector, click on section, just click anywhere in here. And we can see that we're not matching the previous section when it comes to headers and footers. Our format is Roman numerals and we're starting at the number 1. And as I come down, we can see page 2, and 3, and then 4. And then we come into the meat of the document and we can see this is actually starting at page 1. And that's because this section as well is not matching the previous one. And we've changed the format here. Just to confirm that, I'll come over here into our page thumbnails once more, come up to the top. And the first page thumbnail here, well, that's a section on its own. This one, we can see the next 4 pages comprise that section. And then if I click on the 6th thumbnail here, everything after that is the 3rd section. So that showed some finished products there. Let's just quickly add a section here into this document just to show how it happens. So I'm going to click here where I'd like my first one to end. Then I'm going to come up to insert and I'm going to add a section break. Now, if I just come back up here, I can see that section break is indeed there. Now I don't need to have a header on this cover page. So I'm going to click and delete it all. Then I'm going to come down, select this footer. I'm going to get rid of that as well. Now I can see the header is on this page, the first page of the new section, that is. And if I come down and check out the footer, well, this is page 2 of 10. And that's not what I want. I want this to be page 1. So I'll come over to the document inspector, click on section. And for the number there, I don't want it continuing from that previous section. I need it to start at 1. And there we are. Now it's page 1 of 9. And I'm free now to go and make any other formatting changes in this particular section, knowing it's not going to affect my cover page. So you can see setting up new sections, it's really quick, it's really easy, and it gives you a lot of flexibility when it comes to the structure of your document.